we're going to talk about was in the news a lot last week. We touched on the initial part of it a couple weeks ago with Kobe Bryant and the other 8 people that died in that helicopter crash in Calabasas, I think, California.
I believe it was Calabasas.
Actually, the Flight Channel has done a digital reenactment of the entire flight because they have the recordings where the pilot was communicating with the towers.
Okay.
So they have it from the time that they left the helicopter pad until they lost contact. They obviously didn't show it falling out of the sky and tumbling, but they let you know at the point where they lost radio contact, the plane starts to go down, or the helicopter. Also, they found out that model of helicopter didn't have a flight data recorder because it wasn't required. It's not required in the United States, apparently, to have a flight recorder in a helicopter. And that model specifically is not cleared to fly in fog, so they technically shouldn't even have been flying.
Yeah, I think I heard something that most helicopters have like some kind of alarm that goes off when you get close to the
proximity
ground.
Alarm.
Yeah. And I heard somewhere that
it didn't have that. It wasn't equipped with that either. So there were some safety features, and obviously that's nothing that you would predict if you are a frequent flyer.
Right.
It's in the back of your mind, way back of your mind, something might happen. But you never think that it's actually going to happen. I'm sure that pilot, Kobe, nobody on that helicopter was sitting there saying, "Oh, if we get in the fog, we don't have a proximity alarm." So nothing that you can fault anybody for, really. And again, like we were talking about with car accidents and mistakes, hopefully it's something that they fix on that helicopter and enforce that so it doesn't happen again. Unfortunately, those 9 people will never come back, but hopefully it'll prevent anything like that in the future.
So speaking of Gail King, Gail King did an interview with Lisa Leslie.
Gail King, who's a best friend of Oprah. Just in case you don't know who she is.
She works for some kind of
ABC News. I believe she's on a morning show in ABC News. Yeah. She frequently interviews celebrities at like special edition interviews with celebrities. So
she did the R. Kelly interview. Right. If you saw it, where R. Kelly started going crazy and talking about y'all killing me, 30 years of my career, blah blah.
So
So she did an interview with Lisa Leslie, who's a WNBA or former WNBA player for the Los Angeles Lakers.
Olympian.
Probably the most recognizable female basketball player in WNBA history.
Won the Olympics a couple times, I believe.
Yeah. I think she was the first lady to dunk in the WNBA.
In the game, I believe, yeah.
I believe she's 6'8" too, correct?
No.
Wasn't she?
She's 6'5", 6'6".
6'5", 6'6".
She just... for women, it looks like that.
She looks really tall.
Yeah, as far as...
So nonetheless, Gail King did an interview with her. Because her and Kobe were really good friends, which I didn't even know, honestly, before.
I did, because if you watch the Olympics, when that team of Kobe's played, and they had like the women's dream team, and they had the males, they were all the male players like LeBron, Kobe, they would go when the women played, the women would support them, so they'd be in, and they were like really, really close. That whole men's team in that Olympics. Yeah. Really, really close.
Gotcha. Well, I didn't know that they were close like that, but that's neither here nor there. So Gail King interviews her, and she's speaking about Kobe, and she asks Lisa Leslie the question, as a woman, as a WNBA player, does she think that Kobe's legacy is complicated by the rape charge? Now, this rape charge, do you remember what year that was?
It was either 98 or 99. Okay. A couple years, 2 or 3 years into Kobe's career. I think he started in 96. So like 98, 99-ish. Okay.
So let's say 99 just for the sake of argument. So she had 11 years to ask this question to Kobe Bryant, who was alive during that time. Now, it seemed like after...
Or even when he retired. Because retired, that you start talking about what's your legacy and all that stuff. Right. That would have been a question to bring... I'm sure he may not have, he may or may not have answered it. Said, "Look, that's
right. I'm not going through this again."
Right, that this has already been tried in the public eye. This has been tried in the media, and it actually went to court, which just so he was under the impression it was consensual. The woman obviously said it wasn't. It got basically dismissed from court. It wasn't like he was ever charged, or I don't even think he got arrested.
Yeah, she even refused to testify.
She didn't want to testify, etc. And all she wanted was a public apology. Literally, that's it. She didn't want money. She just wanted a public apology. Then it was done. End of story. Move on. He obviously had to work things out with his wife. His wife obviously forgave him and moved on. They had 3 more kids after that. So if his wife can forgive him, I think the public can forgive him. Is where I stand with all that.
Yeah.
That's between him and his wife, ultimately.
And even still, she had many years to ask this question.
Orlando.
To whether Lisa or Kobe himself. And she decided to bring this question up after Kobe had passed. Which, I even thought it was it seems like the motivation was just to ask that question because
barely
honestly,
a week after I think it was Wednesday, so
right.
Sunday was a week, and then had 3 days on, so a week and some change. Like the dude, they haven't even had a funeral for this guy.
Right.
Like his funeral is tomorrow, actually. So, in case you're wondering, Kobe's funeral is tomorrow. Like, the dude's not even in the ground.
Right. So, even with that being said, it seems like this was an opportunistic interview because think about it. How many times has Lisa Leslie been interviewed lately? Not saying that she's not somebody who somebody would want to interview, but it really she hasn't done one in a while that I've seen. Okay, well, maybe I missed it.
I think a lot of former NBA and WNBA players have been getting a lot of interviews, just reflecting on Kobe. How they knew him, whatever. But I would venture to say, had she been interviewing Shaq or somebody, she would not have asked that question.
No, and even if she did, I think it would have been probably handled a different way.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I thought that it was in poor taste. I understand that working with the media, your whole goal is to get ratings, to ask the tough questions because that brings on ratings. People want to tune in, but I still think there's a way to handle it. The man is going. I have a belief personally that if somebody dies, anything that you have to say bad about them, it's time to let it go because you could have said it while they were here.
And I think I told you this when we talked about it earlier. It's kind of like in the Green Mile when that one guard was basically still taking jabs at the Indian after he was electrocuted, and the bigger guard grabbed him and said, "Look, stop. He paid what he owed. You need to let him rest. Right. If you die, you paid what you owe. That's it." There's very rare circumstances. Hitler, maybe mass genocidal people. Those are open. Kobe didn't do anything that was long-standing, anything that would warrant bringing up. He didn't do anything that was atrocious. He thought he was having consensual sex. She said that it wasn't. Yada yada. Whatever. That's whether or not they say there's his side, her side, and then somewhere in there's the truth. There's always 3 sides. Right. And obviously those were the only 2 people there. Not saying that she made it up, but I'm also not saying that he was wrong about how he felt about it. But, unless you're just an atrocious monster, once you die, leave him alone. That's it. And he died with his daughter. That's what everybody remembers, but everybody also forgets. I personally can't get the terror that as they're falling out of the sky, this little girl is holding on to her daddy. Daddy would that alone, that thought alone should leave everything out of that wouldn't even enter my mind to be like, oh, what do you think about Kobe? Is his reputation tarnished from rape?
Right.
First of all, it wasn't a rape. So yeah, that was bothersome, and I think where everybody is wrong is making death threats to Gail King, but
yeah.
But I think they're entitled to their opinion. I think I saw Charlemagne the God. He had responded. He had said, I don't think they should be calling her all types of bitches. I think they're entitled to their opinion.
Right.
I don't think they should be calling her all types
Snoop,
of bitches.
I think, was the first one that did that.
Well, no, actually, Boosie did. That dude, whoever Little Boosie, I don't even know who Little Boosie is.
Little Boosie, yeah, Boosie.
But I think it was Little Boosie.
Boosie badass, yeah.
50 Cent, and then Snoop.
Okay.
So it kind of went in that
But
order.
Snoop's made me laugh. I'm not gonna lie. Did you hear it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I think, hey, that's how they feel. Then that's cool. It's not maybe something I would do, but hey, I wouldn't ask one of Kobe's good friends, do I think his reputation is tarnished?
Right.
Either. So. I mean,
especially
if that's what
after
you
a week after he passed away,
yeah,
or less than
barely a week. Yeah. So
I think that question was answered when Kobe was alive, because for years I haven't heard anything about the rape allegations on Kobe for years. Now all of a sudden he passed away, and people are starting to ask.
I don't even think they brought it up when he retired, which would have been the time to say, "Oh."
Exactly. And another thing I want to mention as well. Oh, my boy Trev is on. Trev was a huge Kobe Bryant fan because him and Kobe, I think, were born in the same month or something like that. What up, Trev? Another thing I want to mention. There was a comedian. Now you remember his name. I don't remember his name. Ari something.
It's Ari Sharif.
Ari Sharif, and I can't quote him verbatim, so I'm not going to try. Got on TV and basically gloated.
Well, it was like YouTube, Twitter. No, Twitter, Instagram. It was actually his Instagram story, but it went to every one of his social media outlets. Right. Yeah, they posted.
So he was basically gloating about Kobe Bryant being gone and saying a rapist that got away. I do remember he said that exactly. A rapist that got away died today, and he was gloating about her, what have you.
He said something to the effect of, "Today is a great day. Kobe Bryant, the rapist who got away with rape, is gone, here no more, and I'm here in Charlotte where he was originally drafted, and maybe if he'd have stayed in Charlotte, maybe if he'd have stayed in Charlotte, he would have avoided the rape charge in Colorado, and today is a good day. He finally got what he deserved." Right. Like, paraphrasing, but that's literally the gist of what he said. And I will say this: we were talking about timing. This was literally
the day after, right?
No, this was literally within hours.
Oh wow!
They hadn't even identified the other people that were killed. All anybody knew at that point was it was Kobe and his daughter.
Wow. Well, Ari has gotten what he deserved, because Ari has been fired. He's been given death threats. Now, once again, because somebody's
his pages are all on private.
On private, yeah. Because somebody's an idiot, that doesn't necessarily mean that he deserves to get death threats. However, I am okay with him losing gigs and whatnot and things of that nature.
His management company dropped him.
Right. Once again, like I said, I think when somebody dies, even if you didn't like that person, what more can you do to them anyway?
Today!
So I don't get it. I don't know. He tried to make a statement that it was more of a joke.
He said that I always make jokes about celebrities that have died. I enjoy taking them down a notch and making them lose their god status, etc. That was kind of his excuse for doing it and saying it, which is strange all in itself. I enjoy making fun of celebrities when they pass away or when they die. Right.
So, whatever.
Why not just make fun of them while they're alive? I don't get it.
Probably because he might get punched in his face. I don't know.
I think he might get punched in the face anyway.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But, I usually don't say I'm happy about bad things happening to people. I'm actually glad that he's lost his gigs and things of that nature. I think
I don't know why he didn't think that he would. Like, there's no way.
Arrogance.
No way within hours of somebody dying, knowing at the very least, that there was one child on board. That's, again, I'll keep going back to that because I'll be honest, I wasn't really a Kobe fan, so I'm not as broken up for Kobe Bryant, the basketball player. I'm affected more for Kobe Bryant, the father.
Right.
That bothers me more than losing Kobe Bryant, the basketball player. So knowing his daughter, a 13-year-old kid, died as well, and to make that joke about Kobe and say you're glad he's dead includes that little girl, and then to find out there was 3 other little girls on that helicopter makes it even worse. Like,
it's just completely despicable all around. I wasn't the biggest Kobe Bryant fan either.
You actually, on one of our podcasts, literally sat here and said you hated Kobe Bryant, but that's as a basketball player. That's as a basketball
I don't
player,
know
which
him
is
personally,
different.
of course.
I hate LeBron James as a basketball player, not as a person. Don't know him, don't care. I know that he's a great father. He gives back a lot, but as a basketball player, could care less.
But as a human, and I don't know all the things Kobe Bryant did for his community or what have you. I know he has done some things, so that
tons of stuff for Philly, for LA.
Exactly. So I have respect for that.
Built that whole Mamba Academy in LA where all those kids are at.
Have respect for him just as a human being. So to sit here and start talking about you're glad this rapist who got away, which you don't even know if he ever, like you said, he believed it was consensual. The lady said it wasn't.
You can say Mike Tyson was a rapist because he was in fact convicted of rape, whether you believe it or not, whether whatever. But he actually was convicted of rape. So you might be able to give him that label. You still might get punched in the mouth if you bring it up. But hey, you gotta take your chances when you want to say something controversial. Right. But you can't label somebody something that, like a rapist, like anything. You cannot label somebody unless it's an absolute. And that's not an absolute that Kobe Bryant was a rapist.
And one thing else I want to touch on, and this, I guess, is going to kind of tie in Oprah to it too. Gail King did the R. Kelly interview. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say I like R. Kelly. I'm not defending R. Kelly. Let's be clear on that. But it seems like there's some kind of agenda or something going on where they send another black media person to tear down a black celebrity.
Like it won't be as bad if we send a black person to tear down another black person.
I've seen it over and over. I think this absolutely needs to stop. I don't understand why, Bob Costas or any other person that does interviews, who I can't think of anybody right now, but why don't they send them? You're sending Gail King or Don Lemon, whoever to do it, and that just something about that doesn't sit well with me. And another thing I want to talk about is Oprah Winfrey.
Well,
okay,
I want to interject before we get into Oprah. Mm-hmm. So. You wrote down what Gail King's reasoning or her excuse or whatever, and I wanted you to read that because that's important because that also, it just...
Oh, yeah. I actually didn't write that down, but we did go over...
Oh, yeah. So paraphrasing what she said, she basically said that if she had heard herself ask that question, that she would have been appalled as well.
She said alone, if she's seen that clip alone.
Yeah, and something along the lines of basically blaming the network for playing that clip, but you asked the question.
Exactly. She also said...
They didn't write your questions for you. You asked the question.
She also said she wanted to ask that question being that Lisa Leslie was a good friend of his. I don't think that matters. I think the question still is in poor taste. The guy is gone. Lisa Leslie had a great response and said that, basically what I'm saying, you had years to ask that question. I don't know.
She said it's not complicated. Her first response was, it's not complicated at all.
Right.
Nope. So we're going to talk about Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah. Oprah Winfrey
Who her best friend is Gail's best friend, just so you know.
Right, and Oprah Winfrey's good friends with Harvey Weinstein. I want to put this out before I get into the point I'm making. Oprah Winfrey has been trying to do a documentary, which she recently said she's backing out of Russell Simmons, the hip hop mogul, Def Jam.
Right, I know.
Guy. Okay.
Yeah, Russ.
And basically,
I'm a funny Russell Simmons.
It was saying that he has some ramblings going on about him sexually.
He has a lot of allegations, yes.
Right. But Oprah has
he's addressed them head on. Like, he didn't, no comment him. He just straight up said, nope, let's get him in court.
Right. But my point is, she's good friends with Harvey Weinstein, and she hasn't thought about doing a documentary about him, who's in court right now for these sexual allegations. And somehow, Cam, Harvey Weinstein can't walk straight anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He has to walk with a walker, one of these, and he was walking fine a week before he went into court.
It's funny how they all are too feeble to stand. I think Trump's campaign manager, Paul Manafort, went into jail. He was fired. Now he's struggling physically. He's halfway dead. I think Suge Knight Knight's blind all of a sudden,
right?
Because he's on trial and blah blah blah. So I think it's literally like it's an old mob trick that Vincent the Chin Gigante used to try to evade arrest with the FBI. Oh, he's crazy. He would walk around the streets in a bathrobe and slippers, walk around in a towel. I think they raided his house once, and he was in the shower in a bathing suit with an umbrella. like just do crazy stuff so that he wouldn't, he could evade arrest. I can't be the head of the mob. I think it's the Genovese mob family. I'm crazy. I can't be the head. So I mean, obviously it didn't work, but
right. So yeah. I just think, that we have to stop tearing down each other. Period. You know what I mean? Like it just seems like there's really a push on that, and it's really disheartening to see it over and over again.
Especially when you can get ratings. Regardless, just the fact that she was interviewing Lisa Leslie to talk about Kobe was enough for her to have. It's like the hot topic thing,
right?
Over the last couple of weeks, I'm sure Vanessa Bryant and her family wishes, it wasn't, but
right.
I mean, you gotta imagine, just even that, imagine Vanessa Bryant, your husband and your child's gone. Now you gotta see some woman on TV asking about some rape allegation from
that she's already dealt with and been brokenhearted over,
right.
from
and moved on,
right?
And now you're bringing it back. So, yeah, just wildly inappropriate.
Yeah, absolutely.
In any circles,
absolutely.
So,
disrespectful even.